My beloved child, what you have been praying in secret is not small, and it is not disappearing into silence. I have heard the words you could barely form. I have received the tears that fell when no one knew how heavy your heart had become. I have seen you stand in rooms where old pain kept speaking, where familiar reactions rose again, where anger sounded like something you had heard before, where fear moved through the family like a shadow that had learned every doorway. And I say to you now, your prayer has not been weak. Your prayer has been interrupting something older than the moment you are facing. You have wondered why certain conflicts keep returning. You have wondered why the same heaviness seems to pass from one season to another, from one relationship to another, from one generation to another. You have looked at losses, addictions, betrayals, emotional distance, sharp words, silent punishments, fear of abandonment, fear of failure, fear of being controlled, and you have asked in the quiet place, Lord, why does this keep happening here? Why does this keep finding us? Why does peace seem so fragile in this family? Why does healing begin, and then something pulls everyone back into the same old place? But understand this, my beloved child. What you are seeing is not merely family pain repeating itself. It is a root being exposed, because I am answering prayer at the root. This is not random conflict. This is not meaningless heaviness. This is not proof that nothing is changing. Often, when I begin to heal a family line, I first allow what has been hidden to come into the light. Not to shame you, not to overwhelm you, not to make you carry what belongs to me, but because what remains covered often remains unhealed, and what is brought into my light can no longer rule in darkness. You thought your whisper was too quiet. You thought your prayer in the car, your prayer at the sink, your prayer at midnight, your prayer after the argument, your prayer after the phone call, your prayer when your heart felt torn between love and exhaustion, had vanished into the air. But I tell you, not one prayer has vanished. Not one tear has been wasted. Not one act of forgiveness has been ignored. Every time you refused bitterness, something ancient was struck. Every time you chose not to answer pain with pain, something old lost agreement. Every time you said, Lord, heal us, even while your own heart was aching, a holy interruption entered the family line. As it is written, the effectual fervent prayer of a righteous man availeth much. And I say to you, do not measure fervency only by volume. Some of the strongest prayers you have ever prayed came through trembling lips. Some of the deepest intercession you have ever offered was not spoken loudly, but surrendered honestly. I heard you when you said, I do not want to become what hurt me. I heard you when you said, I do not want my children to inherit this fear. I heard you when you said, Lord, let this stop with me. My beloved child, you are not only watching a pattern repeat, you are watching me begin to break its rhythm. You are seeing what your family may have avoided, excused, normalized, or buried, because I have placed within you a cry for healing that cannot be satisfied with pretending. This is why certain things grieve you so deeply. This is why you cannot laugh at what destroys. This is why you cannot be comfortable with the same chains, simply because they are familiar. Your spirit has begun to recognize what heaven is confronting. Before the deeper word unfolds, make this small act of agreement, like this video, as a sign that you are agreeing with restoration in your family. Subscribe if you are standing for healing in your household and you know this message is meeting you in a hidden place. And write in the comments, the pattern stops with me. Do not write it as pride, write it as surrender, write it as faith, write it as a declaration that your prayer is not weak, your obedience is not unnoticed, and what I have begun in your family line will not return empty. My beloved child, I appointed you as a hidden intercessor before you understood the assignment, before you had language for the ache, before you knew how to name the pattern, before you could explain why certain rooms felt heavy and certain conversations pierced you deeper than they seemed to pierce others. I was already teaching your spirit to discern. You did not become sensitive to family pain by accident. You did not notice what others ignored because something was wrong with you. I allowed you to see what had been normalized because I was calling you to stand with me where healing must begin. You called it heaviness, but I tell you it was discernment. You called it loneliness, but I tell you it was separation for purpose. You called it being different, being too emotional, being unable to let things go, but I tell you there was a holy sensitivity being formed within you. I was not making you weak. I was making you aware. I was not punishing you with perception. I was entrusting you with prayer, with mercy, with spiritual authority, with the ability to say, this may be familiar, but it is not holy. This may be inherited, but it is not my will. This may have continued for years, but it does not have to continue through me. Understand this clearly, my child. Not everyone who lives inside a pattern can recognize it while it is still operating. Some call bondage tradition, some call fear wisdom, some call silence peace, some call control love, some call bitterness protection. But I opened your eyes, not so you would despise your family, and not so you would carry contempt in your heart. I opened your eyes so you could pray from truth and not from denial. For what is hidden cannot be healed while everyone agrees to pretend it is not there. This burden is not punishment, it is appointment. But do not misunderstand appointment as endless suffering. I have not chosen you to be crushed beneath what others refuse to face. I have positioned you where healing can begin. There is a difference between being called to intercede and being required to carry what only I can carry. There is a difference between standing in prayer and standing in bondage. There is a difference between loving your family and becoming the place where every unhealed thing is allowed to land. I am teaching you that intercession is not agreement with dysfunction. Intercession is agreement with my heart until my light enters what darkness has claimed. Remember Joseph. He saw pain, betrayal, rejection, and years of hidden preparation, yet I used him to preserve the very family that once wounded him. What others meant for evil, I turned toward life. So it is with you. I am not asking you to call wrong things right. I am showing you that I can make even the place of injury become a place of wisdom, provision, and deliverance when the heart remains surrendered to me. Remember Moses, who stood between judgment and mercy, not because the people were easy to love, but because I had placed in him a shepherd's burden. He cried out when others rebelled. He interceded when others complained. Yet even Moses had to learn that he was not the source of deliverance. I was. So it is with you. You may stand in the gap, but you are not the Savior. You may pray with tears, but you are not the healer. You may love deeply, but you must not take my throne in the name of compassion. And remember Esther, hidden for a season, positioned quietly, prepared before she understood the fullness of why. Her placement was not accidental. Her timing was not random. Her voice became necessary at an appointed moment for her people. So it is with you, my beloved child. There are things I allowed you to survive, things I allowed you to see, things I allowed you to feel deeply, because I was forming within you a courage that would one day say, if healing must begin somewhere, Lord, begin here. Do not resent the fact that you see. Bring what you see to me. Do not harden your heart because you discern. Let discernment become prayer. Let prayer become mercy. Let mercy become obedience. Let obedience become a doorway through which a new current enters your family line. I did not awaken you so you could live angry. I awakened you so you could stand free, pray clean, forgive truly, and refuse to partner with the very thing I am breaking. You are not strange for wanting peace. You are not wrong for grieving cycles that others minimize. You are not rebellious because you cannot celebrate what destroys. You are appointed. You are being taught how to love without blindness, how to pray without control, how to forgive without returning to chains, and how to stand before me with the names of your family in your heart without letting their wounds define your identity. As it is written, for such a time as this. And I say to you, your time of hidden intercession is not empty. Your tears have entered my presence. Your prayers have reached places. Your words have never gone. Your obedience is already speaking in the Spirit. Be still, my child. I saw you before you understood yourself. I appointed you before you knew what to call the burden. And what I entrusted to you in secret, I will answer with restoration in my appointed time. My beloved child, what looked like family chaos was not me losing control of what you had prayed about. It was the root being exposed. It was the hidden thing rising to the surface because my light had begun to enter places where silence had lived for too long. You saw repeated arguments and thought, nothing is changing. You saw the same wounds reopening and thought, this family will never be free. You saw sharp words, cold distance, old accusations, broken trust, silent resentment, fear of lack, control, shame, abandonment, and cycles of unforgiveness. And your heart grew tired because it seemed as if the pain was only multiplying. But understand this, my beloved child, Exposure is not always destruction. Exposure can be mercy. I am not humiliating your family. I am uncovering what can no longer remain hidden if healing is going to come. I am not bringing things into the light to shame you, to shame them, or to make the wounds greater. I am bringing them into the light because darkness keeps what it can conceal, but it begins to lose authority over what is surrendered before me. There are patterns that survive because no one names them. There are fears that travel from generation to generation because everyone calls them normal. There are reactions that continue because each person believes they are only defending themselves when they are actually repeating what wounded them. One raises their voice because someone once made them feel powerless. One withdraws because silence once felt safer than honesty. One controls because lack taught them to fear losing everything. One refuses forgiveness because pain convinced them that bitterness was protection. Do you see, my child? What you are witnessing is not merely behavior, it is a root system. And when I begin to touch the root, the ground may tremble. When I begin to pull up what has been buried, the soil may break open. When I begin to reveal what has been passed down through secrecy, denial, and repeated reactions, it may feel as though everything is becoming more visible at once, but this is not collapse. This is not failure. This is not evidence that your prayers have been ignored. This is the place where hidden bondage is being brought into healing light. You asked me to heal the family, and I began by revealing what was making the family sick. You asked me to bring peace, and I began by exposing the false peace that was built on avoidance. You asked me to restore love, and I began by showing where fear had been imitating love, where control had been called care, where silence had been called strength, where resentment had been hidden beneath duty. I do not heal by pretending, I heal by truth. I do not restore by covering darkness with religious words. I restore by causing my light to enter the very place where the wound began. Do not be afraid when old things rise. Do not be shaken when the pattern becomes clearer. Do not think you have failed because you can finally see what has been operating beneath the surface. Prayer does not always make a pattern disappear quietly. Sometimes prayer brings the pattern into the open so agreement with it can be broken. Sometimes prayer reveals the wound so forgiveness can reach it. Sometimes prayer disturbs the hiding place because I am answering from the root and not only touching the branches. No tear is wasted. No cry is ignored. No hidden wound is beyond my reach. The tears you cried after conversations no one understood, I held them. The cries you released when you could not explain the heaviness, I heard them. The wounds you carried quietly because you did not want to dishonor anyone, I saw them clearly. And I say to you, I am not confused by the complexity of your family. I am not intimidated by years of repetition. I am not limited by what others refuse to acknowledge. My light knows how to find what has been hidden. As it is written, the light shines in darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. Therefore, do not call the exposure defeat. Do not call the shaking abandonment. Do not call the uncovering cruelty. I am moving with mercy. I am separating truth from denial, healing from pretending, conviction from shame, and responsibility from condemnation. I am teaching you to recognize the pattern without becoming consumed by it. Be still, my child. What has been hidden is not stronger than my light. What has been repeated is not greater than my covenant. What has wounded the family is not beyond my power to redeem. I am bringing the root into the open because I intend to heal what has lived underground for too long. And as you remain near me, praying with clean hands and a surrendered heart, you will begin to understand that what looked like chaos was my mercy interrupting the darkness before it could continue unchallenged. My beloved child, understand this now. Your refusal to repeat the old reaction is already warfare. The battle is not only happening when voices rise, when doors close, when accusations come, when old wounds are named, or when the family seems to tremble beneath the weight of what has been hidden. The battle is also happening in the quiet moment when you feel the old answer rising within you and you choose not to give it your mouth. It is happening when bitterness knocks and you refuse to feed it. It is happening when revenge offers you a script and you refuse to read from it. It is happening when inherited fear tries to dress itself as wisdom and you turn your heart back toward me. Do not think warfare is only dramatic. Do not think deliverance is only loud. Sometimes the chain weakens when you lower your tone. Sometimes the pattern loses strength when you do not answer insult with insult. Sometimes a stronghold is struck when you refuse the old silence that punishes, withdraws, controls, and hides. Sometimes the greatest spiritual resistance is the surrendered sentence, "Lord, I will not become what wounded me." You have felt the pull of the old way, I know this. You have felt the desire to defend yourself with sharpness, to explain yourself with anger, to make them feel the pain they made you feel. You have felt the temptation to rehearse every offense until your heart grows hard enough to feel protected. But I say to you, hardness is not protection. Bitterness is not strength. Revenge is not justice. It is only pain seeking a body through which it can continue, and I am teaching you to refuse to be that body. You are not losing your voice when you choose peace. You are refusing to let pain speak through you. You are not surrendering truth when you refuse hatred. You are allowing truth to remain clean. You are not pretending wrong did not happen when you forgive. You are returning justice to my hands and refusing to let the wound reproduce itself through your reactions. Forgiveness is not weakness, my child. Forgiveness is spiritual authority. It is the moment you say, "What happened will not govern what flows from me." It is the moment you release the debt to me, not because evil was acceptable, but because your soul was never created to become a prison for another person's sin. As it is written, "Vengeance is mine, I will repay, saith the Lord." Therefore, do not carry my role as though it belongs to you. Do not confuse forgiveness with permission. Do not confuse mercy with denial. Do not confuse peace with passivity. When you forgive, you are not calling darkness light. You are refusing to let darkness plant itself in you and grow another generation of sorrow. You are saying, "Lord, judge rightly, heal deeply, restore what can be restored, expose what must be exposed, and keep my heart free while you work." Every time you pray instead of retaliating, something old loses strength. Every time you bless instead of curse, a bitter current is interrupted. Every time you tell the truth without hatred, you are allowing my spirit to separate honesty from revenge. Every time you refuse the old tone, the old accusation, the old withdrawal, the old fear, the old need to control the outcome, you are not merely behaving differently. You are cooperating with deliverance. You are standing in the place where a pattern expected agreement, and you are giving it none. Do not despise these hidden victories. Heaven sees them. I see the text you did not send. I see the argument you did not continue. I see the curse you did not speak. I see the bitterness you brought to me before it became a seed. I see the moment you breathed, paused, prayed, and chose another way. Your family may not recognize that warfare happened in that quiet restraint, but I recognized it. The spirit of repetition recognized it too, because it reached for the same door and found it closed. But hear me clearly, beloved. You are not the savior of your family. You are not the healer. You are not the redeemer of every broken place. I am. I have not asked you to carry the cross that only my Son could carry. I have asked you to follow me in obedience, to keep your heart clean, to stand in prayer, to forgive as I give grace, to speak truth as I give wisdom, and to refuse agreement with what I am breaking. This mission is personal, but it is not prideful. You do not stop the pattern by your own power. You stop agreeing with it, while my power works through surrender. Be still, my child. The old reaction may still knock, but it no longer owns you. The old fear may still speak, but it no longer has to lead you. The old pain may still rise, but it no longer has to rule your mouth, your hands, your choices, or your future. I am delivering you from the inside first, and as you refuse to embody what once injured you, the chain begins to lose its place in the earth. This is warfare. This is obedience. This is healing becoming visible through a surrendered life. My beloved child, do not be afraid of the shaking you are seeing. Do not quickly decide that your prayers have made everything worse because old wounds have become louder, because distance has become more visible, because conversations have exposed what everyone once tried to keep beneath the surface. I know the question that has passed through your heart. You have wondered, "Lord, did I pray wrong? Did I disturb something I should have left alone? Did my obedience open a storm instead of peace?" But I say to you, what is being shaken is not always being destroyed. Sometimes, what is being shaken is finally being loosened from the place where it attached itself for too long. This is not collapse, my child. This is deliverance in motion. This is not the breaking apart of what I love. This is the breaking of what has been breaking what I love. I am not against your family. I am against the bondage that has wounded your family. I am not tearing down what is holy. I am confronting what has hidden itself beneath familiar behavior, familiar language, familiar defenses, and familiar silence. You see trembling and think everything is failing, but I see chains losing their grip. You see discomfort and think healing has stopped, but I see truth entering rooms where denial once sat comfortably. Understand this more deeply. When foundations are touched, the house may tremble. When roots are pulled, the ground may open. When a vessel is reshaped in the hands of the potter, the clay feels pressure. When gold enters fire, what is impure rises to the surface. But the fire is not proof that the gold is being hated. The pressure is not proof that the vessel is being rejected. The trembling is not proof that the foundation is being abandoned. I am working beneath what you can measure. I am reaching below the argument, below the mood, below the old story, below the repeated reaction, because I am not content to decorate what still needs deliverance. There are systems in families that resist truth when truth enters. There are patterns that resist prayer when prayer begins to interrupt their rhythm. There are old agreements that resist forgiveness because forgiveness removes the fuel they have fed upon. So when you choose peace, something may react. When you speak honestly without hatred, something may feel exposed. When you stop carrying blame that does not belong to you, others may feel the change before they understand it. Do not interpret every reaction as failure. Sometimes resistance is evidence that something has been touched. As it is written, "Yet once more I shake not the earth only, but also heaven, that those things which can be shaken may be removed, and those things which cannot be shaken may remain. Hear me, beloved. I am allowing what is shakeable to reveal itself. I am allowing false peace to tremble so true peace can be established. I am allowing unhealthy control to lose its disguise so holy order can come. I am allowing hidden grief to surface so it can be healed instead of inherited. What can remain in my presence will remain. What was built on fear, pride, manipulation, bitterness, and silence must not be trusted as a foundation. Do not fear the storm when I am in it. Do not fear the shaking when my hand is governing it. I am not careless with your family. I am not careless with your heart. I know how much pressure you can endure, and I know how to hold you while I uproot what has outlived its permission. Keep your heart tender, keep your hands clean, keep your prayers surrendered. Do not return to the old reaction simply because the shaking feels unfamiliar. The family shaking is not proof that prayer failed. It may be proof that the pattern is losing its hiding place. It may be proof that what once ruled quietly can no longer remain unseen. Be still, my child. I am not breaking your hope. I am breaking the agreement with bondage. And when the shaking has completed its work, what remains will be stronger, cleaner, truer, and more rooted in me than what stood before. My beloved child, now hear me with tenderness. While I am touching the family line, I am also touching you. While I am exposing the pattern, I am also healing the place in you where that pattern once found a landing place. I am not only looking at what happened around you, I am looking at what happened within you. I am looking at the places where you learned to be silent to keep peace, where you learned to be strong because no one asked if you were tired, where you learned to carry emotions that were never yours to carry, where you became the responsible one, the careful one, the one who noticed the atmosphere, the one who tried to prevent the next explosion before it came. I saw you when you felt unseen. I saw you when you absorbed blame because it seemed easier than watching everything fall apart. I saw you when you wondered why you always had to be the one to understand, the one to forgive, the one to pray, the one to soften, the one to change. I saw the quiet question in your heart that said, "Lord, why me? Why must I be the one who stops? Why must I be the one who heals? Why must I be the one who refuses what others still repeat?" And I say to you, not because I overlooked your pain, but because I have chosen your healing to become a doorway. Understand this clearly, my child. I am not asking you to pretend nothing happened. I am not asking you to erase the wound, excuse the wrong, or smile over what broke your heart. I do not heal by denial. I heal by truth, touched with my mercy. I am teaching you how to remember without being ruled. I am teaching you how to tell the truth without becoming bitter. I am teaching you how to love without losing yourself, how to forgive without returning to bondage, how to stand in peace without becoming hard. For hardness may feel like protection, but it is still a prison. Bitterness may feel like justice, but it still keeps the wound speaking. Numbness may feel like relief, but it still shuts out the tenderness I am restoring. I am not healing you so you can become untouchable. I am healing you so you can become whole. I am not making you cold. I am making you free. You are no longer only the wounded child in the story. You are becoming a restored vessel in my hands. You are no longer only the one who survived the raised voices, the distance, the pressure, the rejection, the confusion, or the emotional weight. You are one I am rebuilding from within. You are one I am cleansing from the residue of what happened. You are one I am teaching to breathe again, without fear deciding the rhythm. You are one I am forming into a place where the old current cannot continue flowing. Do you see, beloved? If I heal the family around you but do not heal the grief within you, the pattern can still search for your pain and speak through it. If your wound remains unhealed, anger can borrow your mouth. Fear can borrow your decisions. Shame can borrow your identity. Control can borrow your hands. But when I heal your heart, the old thing finds no agreement there. It reaches for the same door and discovers that my peace is guarding it. As it is written, "Create in me a clean heart, O God, and renew a right spirit within me." This is what I am doing in you. I am renewing the inward place. I am cleansing what the years tried to stain. I am restoring what sorrow tried to bend. I am taking the fragments you hid even from yourself, and I am gathering them with patience, with compassion, with holy care. A healed heart prays differently. A healed heart no longer prays from panic alone, but from trust. A healed heart speaks differently. It does not need to wound in order to be heard. A healed heart chooses differently. It does not repeat bondage just because bondage is familiar. A healed heart leaves a different inheritance because what flows from it has been touched by me. So, be still, my child. Let me heal you first. Let me enter the memory, the exhaustion, the resentment, the disappointment, the place where you felt alone while carrying what others refused to face. I am not late to your pain. I was present even there. And what I heal in you will not end with you. It will become a new current, a clean river, a holy inheritance. The pattern will have nowhere to land because your heart will no longer be its home. My beloved child, every hidden prayer is building a new spiritual current. Every time you come before me with a name in your heart, every time you whisper through tears, every time you say, "Lord, have mercy on my family. Lord, heal what we do not know how to heal. Lord, break what has been repeated," something begins to move beneath what your eyes can see. It may not yet appear in the conversation. It may not yet appear in the apology. It may not yet appear in the softening, the reconciliation, the truth spoken without fear. But beneath the surface, I am causing a current to form. Do not measure the power of prayer only by immediate visible change. Roots grow in silence before fruit appears in the open. Seeds break underground before green life is seen above the soil. Rivers begin in hidden springs before they become waters that many can drink from. So it is with your prayers. What you have prayed in secret is not staying small. What you have released before me in the night is not dissolving into emptiness. It is entering my presence, and I am weaving it into covenant movement. No midnight prayer is empty. No whispered name is forgotten. No intercession is powerless before me. No tear that fell while you prayed for a parent, a child, a sibling, a spouse, a relative, or a future generation has been lost. You may forget the words you prayed, but I do not forget the surrender that carried them. You may not remember every moment you lifted them before me, but I remember. I have gathered those prayers. I have heard the groanings that words could not hold. I have received the cries that came from the deepest place in you. Understand this clearly, my child. While you are praying, I am arranging. While you are waiting, I am preparing. While you are forgiving, I am softening hearts in ways you cannot yet measure. I am placing truth where lies once ruled. I am interrupting conversations before they become destruction. I am allowing memories to surface that need my light. I am preparing moments when a hardened heart will suddenly feel conviction, when a guarded mouth will speak honestly, when someone who resisted me will begin to wonder why the old way no longer gives them peace. This is covenant momentum. It does not always move with noise. It does not always announce itself. It often begins like a stream in a dry place, quiet, pure, persistent, finding its way through ground that once seemed lifeless. As it is written, Behold, I will do a new thing. Now it shall spring forth. I will make a way in the wilderness and rivers in the desert. This is what I am doing. I am making a way where your family only knew repetition. I am releasing streams where dryness passed from one heart to another. I am bringing new creation into places that once looked too old, too damaged, too hardened, too late. Do not despise the hiddenness of this work. Your family line did not become wounded in one day, and I am not careless in how I restore it. I am touching layers. I am touching memories. I am touching fears. I am touching vows spoken in pain. I am touching children who do not yet know why their hearts are being guarded by your obedience. I am touching siblings who may not understand why certain cycles are beginning to lose their power. I am touching parents whose wounds began before you were born. I am touching relatives who do not yet have language for what I am doing, but who are already being affected by the current of prayer flowing through the family line. You are not praying into nothing. You are praying into covenant. You are not speaking into empty air. You are agreeing with my heart. When you pray, you are not trying to force my hand. You are yielding your family history to my mercy. You are saying, Lord, let the ruins be rebuilt. Let the desolate places be restored. Let what was broken not remain the inheritance. Let the children receive peace where the fathers carried fear. Let the daughters receive dignity where shame once spoke. Let the sons receive tenderness where hardness was mistaken for strength. And I say to you, I am able to restore the years. I am able to rebuild ancient ruins. I am able to make all things new. The current has already begun, beloved. Long before the fruit is visible, life is moving beneath the ground. Long before the family understands, I am answering. Long before restoration appears complete, my spirit is flowing through the hidden places. So continue to pray, but do not pray from panic. Pray from trust. Continue to stand, but do not stand as one abandoned. Stand as one joined to my covenant purpose. Continue to whisper their names before me, and let your heart rest. I am moving where you cannot reach. I am working where you cannot speak. I am healing what you cannot control. Every hidden prayer is becoming part of a new river, and that river will not stop with you. My beloved child, you are the stopping point of one chain and the beginning of another direction. You are not doomed to carry what previous generations carried. You are not bound to repeat what wounded those who came before you. You are not sentenced to live beneath the same fears, the same anger, the same lack, the same silence, the same unbelief, the same bitterness, and the same broken ways of loving. What entered your family through pain will not have the final word over what I established through grace. Understand this clearly, beloved. A chain may have been long, but it is not eternal. A pattern may have been repeated, but it is not greater than my covenant. A wound may have traveled through many hearts, but it is not stronger than my blood. You may have seen fear passed down as wisdom. You may have seen anger repeated as strength. You may have seen poverty mindsets inherited as realism. You may have seen emotional absence normalized until tenderness felt strange. You may have seen prayerlessness accepted as ordinary. You may have seen bitterness protected as though it were family loyalty. But I say to you, what was common does not have to remain covenant. What was inherited does not have to become identity. There were things you received that you did not choose. There were atmospheres you learned before you had language. There were reactions that surrounded you before you understood why people responded the way they did. There were silences that taught you to hide your heart, raised voices that taught you to brace yourself, lack that taught you to expect loss, rejection that taught you to question your worth, and unhealed sorrow that tried to make you believe love must always carry pain. But I am meeting you at the place where inheritance becomes decision. I am standing with you at the boundary between what came through your bloodline and what will flow through your obedience. Do you see, my child? You are not standing alone. You are standing at a generational turning point. Behind you are stories I am redeeming. Ahead of you are lives I am protecting. Behind you are wounds I am exposing. Ahead of you are children, relationships, homes, conversations, prayers, and decisions that will be touched by what I heal in you. You are not merely changing your behavior. You are agreeing with a new spiritual current. You are saying by your surrender, this fear will not govern my house. This anger will not train my mouth. This bitterness will not become my inheritance. This unbelief will not be the atmosphere I pass forward. And now I am forming another direction in you. Where there was fear, I am planting peace. Where there was denial, I am establishing truth. Where there was resentment, I am teaching forgiveness. Where there was prayerlessness, I am awakening worship. Where there was emotional hiding, I am restoring honest speech. Where there was cowardice disguised as self-protection, I am giving courage. Where there was confusion, I am giving wisdom. Where there was instability, I am building covenant faithfulness. As it is written, if any man be in Christ, he is a new creature. Old things are passed away. Behold, all things are become new. So do not keep calling yourself by the name of the old chain. Do not keep saying, this is just how my family is, as though my grace has no authority to enter the story. Do not keep bowing to what has been repeated when I am calling you to agree with what I am making new. The old may be familiar, but the new is holy. The old may be loud, but the new is alive. The old may have history, but the new has my breath upon it. Write this by faith if your heart can receive it. A new legacy begins in my house. Write it not as pride, but as surrender. Write it not as pressure, but as agreement. Write it because your spirit needs to hear your mouth refuse the old sentence. A new legacy begins in my house. A new sound begins in my house. A new peace begins in my house. A new obedience begins in my house. A new covenant direction begins in my house. Be still, beloved. I am not asking you to repair generations by your own strength. I am asking you to walk with me one surrendered step at a time. Forgive when I give grace. Speak truth when I give wisdom. Pray when I wake your spirit. Refuse the reaction when the old chain reaches for your mouth. Worship when fear tries to return. And trust that what I begin through one yielded life can reach farther than that life can see. You are the stopping point of what was never meant to continue. You are the beginning place of what I always desired to release. The chain ends where my grace is received. The new direction begins where your heart says, yes. Do not despise the small signs of restoration, my beloved child. Do not overlook the quiet evidence because it does not yet look like the complete miracle you have prayed for. A softened conversation is not nothing. A resisted argument is not nothing. A new apology, even if trembling and imperfect, is not nothing. A moment of restraint where anger once would have ruled is not nothing. A desire to pray where there used to be only avoidance is not nothing. Peace rising in the place where panic used to take control is not nothing. These are the first fruits of a deeper work. You have been tempted to measure my movement only by dramatic change. You have looked for the full reconciliation, the complete healing, the whole family gathered in truth, the long-awaited confession, the sudden transformation of every heart. And because you have not yet seen everything, you have wondered if anything is truly happening. But understand this clearly. Many restorations begin quietly. Many breakthroughs first appear as small interruptions in old behavior. Many deliverances begin with one less accusation, one honest sentence, one softened look, one pause before the old reaction, one prayer whispered by a heart that once refused to pray. Do not call small what I call significant. When I rebuild from the root, the first evidence may look hidden, fragile, and easily missed. Roots do not announce themselves with noise, but they are the reason the tree stands later. Seeds do not become harvest in 1 hour, but life begins before the field is full. So it is with your family. So it is with the pattern I am breaking. Partial progress is still progress when my hand is rebuilding what was damaged beneath the surface. As it is written, despise not the day of small things, for I see what is beginning. I see the place where pride is weakening. I see the place where conviction is entering. I see the heart that is not yet speaking, but is beginning to feel. I see the person who still resists truth, yet can no longer rest comfortably in the old lie. I see the atmosphere shifting before anyone has language for the change. Therefore, keep praying, keep forgiving, keep setting holy boundaries, keep walking in peace. Patience is not passivity when it is joined to obedience. Waiting is not weakness when your heart remains surrendered. Not early, not late, but at the appointed moment, what I have been forming will be revealed. Be still, beloved. The small signs are not the end of the story, but they are evidence that the story is changing. Peace is beginning to appear where fear once ruled. Truth is beginning to rise where denial once sat. Restoration is already sending forth its first leaves. And what I begin, I will continue until the fruit is seen. My beloved child, bless them without returning to bondage. Love them without surrendering again to the chain I am breaking. Pray for them without placing your soul back under the weight of manipulation, shame, fear, and emotional control. I want you to understand this clearly. Family restoration does not mean denying harm. It does not mean calling abuse love. It does not mean walking back into destructive cycles simply because the people involved carry your name, your history, your blood, or your memories. Restoration is holy, but enabling bondage is not holiness. I did not call you to be consumed by the pattern I am breaking. I called you to stand free from it. I did not heal your heart so you could return unguarded to the same atmosphere that kept wounding it. I did not teach you peace so you could hand your peace back to confusion. I did not give you discernment so you could ignore what I have shown you. I did not awaken truth in you so you could become silent again beneath the fear of disappointing people who still want the old version of you. Understand this, beloved. A boundary can be an act of love. A boundary can protect what I am healing. A boundary can make room for truth where confusion once ruled. A boundary can keep forgiveness from being mistaken for permission. When you say, I will not participate in this argument, that is not hatred. When you say, I will not allow shame to govern this conversation, that is not rebellion. When you say, I love you, but I cannot return to this cycle, that is not dishonor. It is wisdom standing at the door of your heart. For there is a difference between a wall built from bitterness and a boundary established by wisdom. Bitterness says, I want you punished forever. Wisdom says, I will not give destruction unlimited access. Bitterness closes the heart to my mercy. Wisdom keeps the heart open to me while refusing what is unclean. Bitterness seeks revenge. Wisdom seeks peace with truth. Do not confuse these things. My child, I am not making you hard. I am teaching you holy order. Forgiveness releases the poison, but wisdom governs access. Forgiveness releases the debt into my hands, but wisdom discerns timing. Forgiveness refuses to let hatred become your inheritance, but wisdom understands proximity. You can forgive and still move slowly. You can forgive and still require truth. You can forgive and still refuse manipulation. You can forgive and still say no. You can bless someone before me and still not give them the same place of influence in your life that they used to have when the pattern ruled unchecked. As it is written, guard your heart, for out of it flow the issues of life. This is not fear, this is stewardship. Your heart belongs to me, your peace belongs to me, your obedience belongs to me. Do not let guilt take what grace has restored. Do not let pressure move you faster than my spirit is leading. Do not let others define love as the removal of every boundary. Love without truth becomes weakness. Truth without love becomes harshness. But when my spirit governs both, you can stand with tenderness and firmness together. You may pray for them with tears and still refuse the old invitation to perform, rescue, appease, explain, absorb, or prove. You may ask me to heal them and still refuse to be controlled by their moods. You may desire reconciliation and still wait for fruit that shows repentance, humility, and change. You may honor what is good while no longer bowing to what is destructive. This is not abandonment. This is obedience. So bless them, my child. Bless them by refusing to hate them. Bless them by praying for their freedom. Bless them by no longer helping the pattern hide. Bless them by becoming a place where the old cycle cannot continue. Keep your voice clean. Keep your heart soft. Keep your boundaries holy. And remember, you can love your family deeply and still refuse to return to the bondage I am breaking. My beloved child, the legacy I am forming through you will outlive this battle. What you are walking through now is not only about the pain behind you, it is also about the holiness ahead of you. I am not merely removing an old pattern from your history. I am planting a new testimony in your future. I am building something that will speak after this season has passed, after the shaking has settled, after the tears have dried, after the conversations you feared have been faced, after the old cycle has lost its authority over your heart. Do not think your obedience is small because it is quiet. Do not think your surrender is unnoticed because no one applauds it. Do not think your hidden forgiveness, your restrained tongue, your private prayer, your refusal to repeat the old reaction, and your willingness to walk in truth are disappearing into the air. Heaven records what pride ignores. Heaven records what family may not understand. Heaven records the moments when you could have answered with bitterness but chose peace, when you could have returned to bondage but chose wisdom, when you could have passed pain forward but brought it to me instead. I am planting through you what you may not fully see yet. Children may speak differently because of what I am healing in you. Future relationships may carry more tenderness because you refuse to let hardness become your covering. Homes may become places of prayer because you stood in the secret place when no one else knew how to stand. Choices may become cleaner, words may become gentler, love may become safer. Family language may change from accusation to truth, from silence to humility, from fear to faith, from control to honor. Do you see, beloved? I am not only stopping what wounded you, I am creating what will shelter others. Remember Abraham. I called him forward with a promise he could not yet hold in his hands. I spoke covenant over generations he could not yet see with his eyes. He walked with me by faith before the fullness appeared. So it is with you. You may not see every branch of what I am growing through your obedience, but I see the tree. You may only see one decision, one prayer, one boundary, one act of forgiveness, but I see the inheritance being redirected. Remember Joshua, who stood before the people and declared, "As for me and my house, we will serve the Lord." He did not make that declaration because every surrounding voice agreed. He made it because covenant required a clear stand. So it is with you. Even if some relatives resist, even if some mock, even if some misunderstand your peace as distance or your wisdom as pride, your obedience still matters. Your yes still changes the atmosphere around your life. Your surrendered heart still becomes a dwelling place for my presence. Remember Timothy, whose sincere faith was connected to what lived first in his grandmother and his mother. Faith can travel through a family line. Prayer can become inheritance. Tenderness can become language. Worship can become atmosphere. What I place in one yielded life can touch another life, and another, and another. Do not underestimate the holy continuity I can establish through someone who simply says yes to me. This is not merely the end of a pattern. This is the beginning of a testimony. One day, what tried to destroy you will become evidence of my keeping power. One day, the place where the chain broke will be remembered as the place where mercy entered with authority. One day, someone may live in peace because you allowed me to heal the war within you. Someone may know how to forgive because you forgave. Someone may know how to pray because you prayed. Someone may know how to love without bondage because you learned wisdom in my presence. So keep walking, my child. Keep your heart clean. Keep your hands open. Keep your spirit anchored. I am building ahead of you while I heal behind you. I am forming a legacy stronger than the battle that introduced it. What was wrong behind you will not be greater than what I make holy ahead of you. The pattern may have spoken loudly for a season, but my covenant will speak longer, and what I am forming through you will not end with you. Now, my beloved child, bring this whole family line before me. Bring the names you can say and the names you can barely speak without feeling the weight rise in your chest. Bring the memories that still ache. Bring the stories you know and the stories that began before you had language. Bring the wounds that were handed down, the reactions that were normalized, the fear that traveled quietly, the anger that became familiar, the silence that trained hearts to hide, and the bitterness that tried to make a home in the generations. Do not bring them to me as one who must carry them alone. Bring them to me as one who has finally understood that the burden belongs in my hands. Say within your heart, Lord, I surrender my family line to you. I surrender what I understand and what I do not understand. I surrender what was done to me, what was spoken over me, what was withheld from me, and what tried to shape me outside of your love. I surrender the roots, not only the fruit. I surrender the hidden places, not only the visible behavior. I ask you to heal what has been wounded, expose what has been hidden, break agreement with every lie, and restore what generations did not know how to protect. My child, release bitterness now. Release the secret desire to make pain pay you back. Release the need to keep rehearsing the wound until it becomes your identity. When you forgive, you are not saying the wound was holy. You are saying I am holy enough to judge rightly, heal deeply, and redeem completely. Forgiveness does not erase truth. Forgiveness places truth in my hands. So let the poison leave your heart. Let revenge leave your imagination. Let the old fire lose its fuel. You were not created to become a monument to what hurt you. You were created to become a vessel of my mercy. Pray this with surrender. Father, heal the roots. Heal the father wounds, the mother wounds, the childhood wounds, the marriage wounds, the sibling wounds, the spoken curses, the hidden shame, the fear of lack, the fear of rejection, the fear of abandonment, the fear of being unseen. Let every lie lose its authority. Let every false identity be broken. Let every place of pride bow before your truth. Let every hardened heart encounter conviction without condemnation and mercy without compromise. Restore hearts, restore peace, restore what can be restored, and give wisdom where boundaries must remain. I say to you, beloved, you are not abandoned in this assignment. You are covered, strengthened, guided, and kept by my hand. You are not standing between generations by yourself. I stand with you. I go before you. I guard what I am healing in you. I strengthen your hands when obedience feels costly. I steady your spirit when old emotions rise. I give you words when words are needed, silence when silence is wisdom, distance when distance is protection, and tenderness when tenderness is the way of my spirit. Now declare it, not from pride, but from agreement. Declare it as one who belongs to me. The pattern stops here. The wound will not become my inheritance. The grace of God is forming a new legacy through me. Say it again in your spirit. The pattern stops here. The wound will not become my inheritance. The grace of God is forming a new legacy through me. Let this declaration become a boundary in the unseen realm. Let it become a confession over your house. Let it become a sound that answers every old accusation, every old fear, every old memory that says nothing can change. As it is written, he who began a good work in you will complete it. I began this work. I awakened your discernment. I stirred your prayers. I exposed the pattern. I strengthened you to refuse the old reaction. I taught you forgiveness. I gave you courage for holy boundaries. I placed covenant hope where despair once sat. And what I have begun, I will not abandon. What I have started in you and through your family line, I will continue according to my wisdom, my timing, and my faithful love. So remain in peace, my child. Keep your heart tender. Keep your spirit clean. Do not return to bitterness because the process is not finished. Do not return to fear because every person has not changed yet. Do not return to control because you cannot see every detail. Trust me with the seen and the unseen. Trust me with the living and the future generations. Trust me with the roots beneath the soil and the fruit that will appear in its appointed time. And if this message has touched the place where you are standing for your family, write your prayer request for family healing in the comments. Let it be an act of faith, not performance. Share this with someone who is standing for their household and needs to know their prayers are not wasted. Like this video if you believe I am restoring your bloodline by my grace. And subscribe for more messages of prayer, healing, and faith, so your heart can continue to be strengthened in my presence. Be still, beloved. The story is not over. The chain is not stronger than my covenant. The wound is not stronger than my grace. The pattern is not stronger than my blood. Walk forward in peace. The first of the chain, the teen, bless without bondage, forgive without surrendering wisdom, pray without panic, love without losing yourself. I am with you in this assignment, and what I have begun in you, what I have begun through you, and what I have begun in your family line, I will complete.